Making the decision to run for public office is a difficult one. But even more difficult is the process of running itself. My name is Robby Slaughter, and I have made the choice to run for the U.S. Congress here in Indiana. And instead of joining up with the Republican, Democrat, or Libertarian parties, I decided to run as an independent candidate. That means I have no backing or structure or plan from any organization. It means I have to decide what my platform is myself. There is no existing support from voters. But before all that, it means I must follow the rules of my state to get on the ballot. Indiana state law requires that candidates who are not part of any major party collect signatures from registered voters through a petition process. These individuals must live in the district where the candidate hopes to run. They must provide their name, their address, and their date of birth. Each form is associated with a county, so whoever signs must do so on a form that matches that particular county. And signatures must be witnessed and affirmed by the person who carries the form. Major party candidates in Indiana, by the way, don't need to collect any signatures. They need the blessing of party officials, and then they are in the election. But as an independent, petitions are required. And so, starting the day the official state form was released in July of last year, I began to collect signatures. I went to farmers markets, I went to county fairs, I went to parades and town councils and public concerts. I went to fish fries and spaghetti dinners. I showed it up at events for the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and the Libertarian Party. I went to art shows and movie premieres and coffee shops. I went to small towns and big cities and everything in between. Day after day, week after week, month after month. When I wasn't headed to events, I went knocking on doors. But this takes time. So much time. And so many people do not want you at their door. So many people have put up signs telling you to leave. Sometimes you don't see them until you get right up to the doorbell. Sometimes the whole neighborhood or apartment complex sends you away. Because in Indiana, the requirement from the state is that you collect signatures in excess of 2% of the number of people who voted for the Secretary of State in the last election. However, these signatures must be valid. If they are illegible, if the person has moved, if their voter registration is out of date, if they decline to put their age, if they use a nickname instead of their legal name, their petition will be rejected. And so, to make sure I had enough, I collected over 6,100 individual signatures. And that doesn't include the thousands more people who declined to sign, who weren't ready to help out an independent to be on the ballot minutes after meeting them, who weren't legal citizens and thus could not vote, who had given up on democracy and no longer participated, who were too young, too frail, or too angry to do their civic duty at the ballot box. But almost everyone else signed right away. Almost everyone I met was enthusiastic to give me a shot at going to Washington. Almost everyone told me they were tired of the parties, they were tired of the bickering and drama, they were tired of not having decent choices. They were ready to consider an independent. A few dozen volunteers joined me as well. They talked to strangers. They went out with me on hot days carrying clipboards. Some of them circled the district on their own, bringing petitions to business meetings, to family and friends, to private social gatherings. And finally, almost 12 months later, it was time to bring back this enormous stack of paper forms to each of the county offices to be validated, to hand them to officials with the hope that all of this work would not be in vain, that enough of these signatures would be accepted and I would earn a place on the ballot. Here I am today, with an official form signed and affixed with the seal of the Indiana Secretary of State, an official candidate for the United States Congress. 10,000 conversations with voters brought me to this point. 10,000 moments that made the foundation for this campaign, and enough of them willing to give a signature to have the option to vote for me in November. America began in independence. America has thrived through independent thinking. And now, once again, Americans will have the chance here in Indiana's 5th District to choose an independent. My name is Robby Slaughter, and I am an independent candidate for the United States Congress.